Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Mystical Visions. So, in today's reading, we're going to take a look at how you can realign to your path. Now, this could be any path you choose to ask about. It could be your career, it could be your personal life, anything that you want to realign to that you feel a little lost with. We're going to take a look at why you may have veered from your chosen path and how you can work your way back to it. And of course, we'll take some animal spirit guidance advice. So as always, I have 3 piles for you to choose from. For pile 1, we have this lovely carnelian stone. For pile 2, we have an amethyst. And for pile number 3, we have a blue sodalite. So, as always, I'll give you guys some time to sit with these 3 piles of cards and see which one calls to you most. Timestamps, as always, are in the description. If you enjoyed this video and you find that it resonates and it helps, then please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps the channel out so much. Thank you so much for 200 subscribers, by the way. I'm so excited to have you along for the journey. But yeah, without much further ado, go ahead and pick a pile, and timestamps are in the description. I'll see you at your reading. Pile number 1, hello, welcome to your reading. So if you picked this carnelian stone, then this is your reading. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your piles. And the way I have laid this reading out, of course we have a format, is these first 2 cards are going to be your confirmation cards to tell you what this whole situation is about. So with 2 tarot cards, this is mostly tarot today, we have what your path is. And you could use this as confirmation, or if you're not sure, you can use this as a message about what your path may be. Then with these 2 cards, we'll look at why you veered off your path. And then these 4 cards will tell us how you can get back to it. And then finally, with the Oracle card, we'll have a bit of advice. And this is the Animal Spirit card. So, of course, we will be reading from the book here. But without much further ado, let's dive right in. So, what is your path? Pile number 1. We have the 9 of Cups. Oh, sweet. So this could be about emotional fulfillment. It could be about a relationship. But it also could be about just finding happiness in general, about finding just the things that make your heart sing. You may be asking about a romantic situation, which if you are, then, we'll go ahead and see how you can come back to your chosen path. But mostly with the 9 of Cups, rather than it being the 10 of Cups, this feels like wish fulfillment. I feel like you have certain emotions that you want to be feeling right now, that you may have strayed away from. You may be a very happy-go-lucky person in general, and then right now you're feeling quite down, and maybe that's something you're asking about, is why you're just so unhappy right now and how you can be your more light, fluffy self again. But to clarify, that's a lot of honking. I'm so sorry about that. To clarify, we have the Lovers. Okay, yeah, this definitely feels like a romantic situation, I'm going to be honest. But the Lovers is the Gemini card, so it could also be in communication. So maybe you are asking about a person that you are no longer in communication with, or someone that you're talking to, that things may have seemed to slow down, or just they're not going quite the way you want them to. Alternately, maybe this is just a situation you want to know more about. But if this resonates and if this is what you're asking about today, then yeah, you're in the right place. So what is your path? Your path that we're talking about today, we've all got multiple, but today we're definitely going to be talking about your love life. I feel like the person that you're asking about does genuinely make you very, very happy. Or like the relationship you're asking about makes you very, very happy. It's almost like you feel like a kindred spirit type of connection with this person, almost like they mirror you in many ways. And it's, I'm getting the feeling of like, I don't want to finish my sentences because someone else will. So this may be a person that genuinely like completes your sentences literally. And I do feel this is a divinely guided connection because you see this angel up here. I do think this might be a divinely guided connection. This might be a twin flame situation, which I'm personally not a fan of the way we understand twin flames, I suppose. But if that's something you resonate with, or if you resonate with like a soulmate situation, that could be it. And it does feel like communication is a big thing here. Just because, like I said, Gemini, right? Gemini is communication, Mercury energy. But also, I feel like I'm stumbling over my words a lot today. And this is the first reading I'm filming, so it's not like I'm super tired or anything. In fact, I'm hopped up on a lot of sugar right now. Not that you care, but anyway. So, yeah, I think this reading is definitely going to be about your love life or a connection that you want to know more about. A connection that you may be losing a little bit of control over. But if that's something you'd like to know about, then you're in the right place. If not, maybe pick a different pile, or there may not be a message here for you today. But if you're still here, let's go ahead and look at the next cards. Next, we're going to take a look at why you may have veered off this path. Oh, this doesn't necessarily, I'm getting the, I just got a message about this doesn't necessarily have to be about a specific connection in your life already. Maybe you're just seeking a connection that feels like this, that feels like a wish fulfilled. It feels like someone's mirroring you, someone truly gets you, like your person. Maybe you're asking about just your love life in general, a potential soulmate in general, and how you can go about making this happen. Yeah. Okay, let's go into your next cards. So why has pile 1 veered from this path? We have the 8 of Swords. You've put up a wall around you. This may come from a place of trauma, because do you see how she's so shielded, but also the donkey skin thing that she's wearing is obviously wounded and is dead, really. It feels like you may have done a lot of trauma healing, part 1, especially when it comes... Oh, yep, sorry. Especially when it comes to relationships. And a Swords card, this definitely has something to do with communication. Maybe you were in connections in the past where communication wasn't very healthy. Maybe someone was trigger warning, verbally abusive. Maybe you were in a connection where you were constantly gaslit, or the things you said were kind of twisted, your words were twisted and used against you. And because of that, you have felt the need to retreat away from any potential connections for a very long time. And now you feel like you're finally ready, but you don't quite know how to get back into the game. Because maybe relationships, maybe dating has changed a lot since you've last been on a date. Things like that. Those are real things that people struggle with. And I think also because you feel this need to protect yourself from ever going through what you went through in the past. you may have kind of shut yourself off from the idea of a fulfilling relationship because maybe you lost faith in relationships in general. And that's fair enough. When we go through really hurtful things, our brains are wired to make us not want them anymore so that we are not hurt again. So it makes sense that you would have protected yourself, but also it almost starts to feel, I'm almost starting to feel very lonely. Like there's a whole world out there with, these wishes that can be fulfilled and these people that can have anything they want. And there's almost a sense of envy I'm getting from you guys of why can't I have that? But the message here is that yes, you can. The only thing that's stopping you right now is your own walls that you've put up, your own protective mechanisms, which are important and they helped you survive through difficult situations, but they are also keeping you in that same exact mindset, right? To clarify the Eight of Swords, we have the moon there. See? This is definitely deeply emotional. And also, Gemini Cancer season may have been significant or maybe significant going forward. When I upload this, I think we're in Gemini season right now. But anyway, with the moon, there's been a lot of secrecy or like a lot of darkness, a lot of hidden emotions that have been coming up to the surface. Maybe you suppress this desire for a connection for so long and it's finally coming back up. As a way to protect yourself from any future heartbreak, you kind of told yourself, well, I guess it's just not something I ever want again. But everyone wants connection in some way, right? Even if it's not romantic, no one is supposed to be isolated. And even if it's not a cookie cutter relationship that you're looking for, you do still have the right to love. You do still have the right to seek love in whatever form you're seeking it in. But the reason you veered off course from finding, I'm hearing your soul family really, is because of this self-imposed isolation, which again, I'm not trying to blame you for it. I'm trying to explain to you how sometimes we can get in our own way, or sometimes the things that we needed in the past, we don't need anymore, and it's okay to let them go. Interesting. But I do think if you're watching this video when it comes out, then the current time frame that you're going through, Gemini and Cancer season, might bring you significant connections. Or whenever you're watching this, the next Gemini or Cancer season might have a big impact on either your love life or your social life in general. But that's why you veered from your path. Now, let's have a look at how you can get back on it. So our first card is the Page of Coins. Interesting. You need to, one, go back to the beginning, and two, invest in some way. Now, I'm not saying go buy like a premium dating app or whatever, but with the Page of Coins, this is a beginner's mind. So I think step one would be to unlearn everything you think you know about relationships. Unlearn every assumption you've made, rather. Right? Because you've learned some very difficult lessons, obviously, because no one would isolate themselves if they hadn't. But I think you may also be holding on to the hurt along with the lessons. And it's time to let that bit go. And a lot of the times when we learn difficult lessons, we tend to kind of twist them in our minds in almost like an overprotective way, in that, say now you were hurt by one type of person, you kind of assume that everyone that is remotely like that person is going to treat you the same way. And that's an extrapolation. That's not the truth. That is the illusion. Maybe that's why this moon card is here. And with the page coming up, the page is, it's a young card. It's a youthful character who is out seeking knowledge. And the page of coins specifically is looking for practical knowledge, right? Financial knowledge, investment, that kind of thing. But they're looking to learn is the point. And so maybe you're being called right now to maybe look at the facts as opposed to the fears, right? To go back, pretend you know nothing about relationships in the sense of what you can expect. And then look at your connections in the past, not just this traumatic, painful one, but others. If you haven't had any other romantic connections, surely you've had platonic or familial connections that have really been there for you, that have really helped you. Maybe some who have helped you through this trauma. And maybe think of, okay, if all these other people can show me affection in a genuine way without expecting anything in return, without hurting me, then perhaps there's others out there that I haven't met yet who can treat me the same way. And that is when you bring a little bit of a reality check to dispel some of the almost exaggerated cartoon monsters that our minds can sometimes make up. And again, I'm not trying to blame you for feeling the way you feel. It's just that it's not helping anymore, because otherwise you wouldn't be here asking about this, right? To clarify the page of coins, we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. Yeah. Okay. The obvious message here is that you need to invest some time and effort into relearning how you see relationships, into teaching yourself to scrap everything you fear and go right to the beginning, because not everything has to end in conflict. Not everything has to end badly. That doesn't mean that the next person you're with is going to be your soulmate who you live with forever and, have a home or whatever. But it does mean that not every relationship that ends is going to end horribly and leave you with all this pain and suffering. So, step 1, unlearn every bad thing that you've started to assume about every single person on this planet. Next, we have the King of Swords. There's a heavy communication aspect here. The King of Swords. This is someone who is very measured, very mentally stable, very intelligent, very intellectual. Maybe instead of seeking this grand idea of, romance in a traditional sense, maybe work on more intellectual connections. Or maybe you're literally being invited to focus on your mind for a bit, focus on maybe psychology, therapy, that kind of thing would really, really help you gain control. Because do you see how he is holding this sword in such a measured, skilled way? He knows exactly how to use it, but he also knows how to hold on to it when he doesn't need it. I feel like you have the opportunity right now to work on some deep-rooted fears, because I feel like although this was a very traumatic thing, it might also echo sentiments you may have had from a very young age. And with the King of Swords here, I feel like it's time to take an intellectual, a measured approach towards your healing, as opposed to simply it's almost like you need to take a divine masculine approach to your healing, because I feel like you've been sitting in your divine feminine healing energy right now, which was necessary, but you've done all you can with that, and it's time to start working with a bit more structure. And to clarify the King of Swords, we have the Four of Swords in reverse. Yeah, what did I tell you? The Four of Swords upright to me feels like very divine feminine rest energy. I mean, that's what it literally means. It's the card of rest and recuperation. And I feel like you've done so much of that even you are getting a little antsy right now. Maybe that's why you're here looking at this reading, to find a way to get back into it, because you've had so much of just sitting in one place and doing the healing, going inwards, doing your meditations and doing your affirmations and all of that. And that's great. And it's brought you to a point where you feel ready for the next step. The next step is to come out of your cave and to come into the light and really take stock. Look at any subconscious beliefs you may have learned that are not necessarily rooted in the truth. Maybe take a look at assumptions that you make about people, about relationships, about friendships, whatever you're looking for. Maybe take a deep, hard look at that and think, is any of that real, or is it an illusion my mind has created in order to protect me from future pain? Because obviously everything we look at through the lens of our perception, right? Everything we understand about this world, we understand based on how we've been taught to think. And the great thing about perception is it is so changeable. And so when you are ready, which you clearly are, when you're ready to change your perception, it is just as easy as putting in a bit of time and doing a bit of thinking. And next thing you know, you're just a completely changed person. If you're not already getting therapy, you might want to consider it. But if it's not accessible to you, you might want to do a bit of deep thinking as opposed to deep feeling. It's all well and good to feel your way into healing, but sometimes that feminine energy can feel a little complacent. It can be a little passive. Well, it is passive energy. And sometimes you can be so caught in the depths of it that you kind of you have to force yourself out of that darkness. And that's what you're being called to do, is now that you've looked at the emotional aspects of your healing journey, look at your thoughts and perceptions of relationships in a more intellectual way. Observe yourself, observe your thought patterns. Maybe, keep a running diary of thoughts that you have about relationships, and then once a week take stock and think about what you've been thinking about all week. And that will definitely help you notice your own thought patterns, which are keeping you stuck in this energy. Okay, so finally, your advice from the Spirit Animal Pocket deck. Canary Spirit, sing your own song. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the vibe of you've internalized certain narratives that may not necessarily reflect how you truly deep down on a soul level feel about connections, but because of what's happened in the past, you may have internalized a certain narrative that's really keeping you small. So, wow. Okay. Butterfingers here. So, Canary Spirit number 12. I always like to read these from the book. You guys already know. Can we please have that page? Thank you. Okay. Canary Spirit, sing your own song. Canary Spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Free yourself to experience your inner light and let it shine as Canary Spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you're being called to fully be yourself, for only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. Beautiful. So I think the message here is definitely to not hide behind this fear. It is to find your authentic voice despite what happened. And that's how you will find your true soulmate. It's like a bird calling out to its mate. Its mate can only hear it if it sounds like its truest self, right? Its mate can only respond if it can identify this bird, right? So that's your message, pal number 1, about how you can realign to your path. I do hope this brought you some clarity and support. And if it did, then please do remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it really helps the channel out so much. I really do feel for what you've been going through, but I know that you can get through this and that you can find exactly what you're looking for. Okay. So, yeah, thank you so much for spending some time with me today and for sharing your energy with me and letting me read for you. I really do hope it helped. Stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Pal number 2, hello. Welcome to your reading about how you can realign to your path. So if you picked this amethyst stone, then this is your reading. Welcome. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards, and of course we have a format, so this is mostly tarot heavy. These first 2 cards are going to tell us what your path is that you're asking about, and this can be used as confirmation about whether you picked the right pile. If it resonates, then you're in the right place. If not, you might want to check out a different reading, or maybe there's just not a message here for you today, but we'll see. These next 2 cards will tell us about how you may have veered from your path and why. And then these 4 cards will tell us about how you can get back to it, how you can realign to the path that you want to follow. And then finally, with the spirit animal card, we'll take a look at some advice for you. So that was a lot. Without much further ado, let's dive in. So what is your path, pile number 2? We have the 8 of Cups. It's about leaving, or someone leaving, or something leaving your life. And with the 8 of Cups, it's like almost like a departure that was meant to happen or that was needed. Because the idea of the 8 of Cups is that all these cups that have been built up, this person realizes that they are not what they wanted. These cups are not what they wanted. This thing that they've spent so long building up, while they thought they wanted it, they've realized that it's just not who they are anymore. And so despite having 8 full cups, they choose to walk away. So there might be something in your life that you want to walk away from, or something you want out of your life that for some reason you're not able to shake off entirely. Your path may be something that you wish would lead you away from everything that you know. And while you've been working towards it, it almost feels like things have come to a standstill, because despite this person walking away, it almost feels like they're holding still. I never get that from this image, but for some reason today it feels like they're holding quite still, despite wanting to walk away. So to clarify the Eight of Cups, we have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. This might have to do with money. You might feel like this urge to walk away comes from not having independence, not having specifically financial independence in your life right now. It's like you want to go away and do things on your own terms. But it could also be that you want to go away, but you don't necessarily have the means to do it. Or you feel like you're not strong enough, or you're not independent enough to be able to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So what is your path? It is your path right now is all about leaving the life that you know behind, because you understand that it is not conducive to your highest self, and it is not going to help you grow beyond where you are right now. You may feel stunted and like you've learned everything there is to learn and it's time to move on, but you're simply not able to move forward. So let's go ahead and take a look at why you may have veered off this path. First, we have the Four of Wands in reverse. Now take this if it resonates, but this could be a bad relationship, a bad marriage, or, a bad family situation. It could be something that you once saw as a gift, as a blessing, as a cause to celebrate, but now you find that there's nothing left there that is worth celebrating. Does that make sense? Pile 2? Why did you veer off your path? It could be that you're holding on to a relationship, a marriage, a family situation, despite knowing that it is not what you're supposed to do, despite knowing that it is getting a little toxic, and you're still staying with it out of a sense of posterity. And to clarify this, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, it feels like you've been working so hard to maintain this almost illusion. I'm going to be honest, pal, too. This could be about like a separation from a partner or like a divorce, that kind of thing. Because it does feel like you've put in so much work into this situation and it hasn't led to anything. It feels like there was no reciprocity in this relationship. It doesn't have to be marriage, because the Eight of Pentacles also talks about work. And so this could be about, there we go. This could be about a work situation, because a lot of times we say we are married to our work, right? And it might be that this job was something you celebrated when you first got it. And then now you're looking back at it and you're thinking, maybe it wasn't worth it. Maybe it wasn't all I chalked it up to be in my head. Maybe it's not giving me the fulfillment that I want, but I also understand that I'm not financially strong enough yet to walk away. That's kind of what I'm getting. If it's a job situation you're asking about. But if it's a marriage situation you're asking about, same rules apply. It feels like you did a lot of the work and it ended up being more work than it was joy. and you feel like you're ready to walk away from it, but you know, you don't feel stable enough to do it yourself. What's interesting is both the cards that are upright are 8s, which is the number of abundance. It is also the number of Saturn and lessons and infinity and all of that stuff. Just something to keep in mind. But why did you veer off your path? I do think you were taken in by the illusion of it a little bit. You thought you would have this perfect family and this perfect home or this perfect life, and you know, it was all glitz and glamour and celebration, to a point where you almost didn't appreciate or didn't even consider how much work it would be. This could also be about taking in someone or bringing someone into your life, not necessarily a partner, but like a dependent, and you wanted to take care of them and, you know, be supportive and all that, and you never quite understood or never could quite have imagined how much work it is and how much it will take from you. And now you feel like you want your independence back, you want your freedom back, but you're not quite sure how to walk away without, you know, feeling guilt. Maybe that's why I felt like this person had stopped in their tracks. Maybe it's guilt. Not that any of the cards specifically talk about guilt, but I kind of get that feeling from you, Paul, too. So why did you veer off your track? It's because you were taken in by the illusion. I feel like you were never meant to be in this situation. And obviously everything in our life happens for a reason. Let me just start by saying that everything in our life happens for a reason. You know, there's always a lot to learn from every situation that we are in. With that said, this is going to sound odd, but I almost feel like this situation was not pre-written for you. It's something you chose in your human form. It's not necessarily something your higher self chose for you to experience while you were in the spirit realm trying to figure out what life you wanted to live. This feels like a very human decision that you made, which, you know, it's just, it just goes to show you that free will can go either way. But that also does mean that you have to deal with this in a very human way, but we'll see what the cards say. All right, so how can you get back on track? How can you realign to your path? We have the Chariot in reverse. Slowly and steadily. And also in a non-emotional way. The Chariot is the Cancer card. This could be like a mother wound. Or like something to do with your emotions, something to do with a parent or a parent figure, I don't know. But with the Chariot in reverse, you're gonna have to go back and almost like rewrite a part of your life. I'm almost getting the sense of like, be a little delusional and go back and pretend. Well, not pretend, but like act as if, which I guess is pretending in a way, but act as if this hadn't happened. What would your life have been like if the situation was never part of it? Because for you guys, I feel like it's not so much about realigning to your path. I feel like it's about finding your path. I feel like you'd never had an opportunity to even consider where you want to go before this situation was kind of thrust on you, or like happened, or, you know, you entered the situation, whatever it is. Yep, there we go. Sorry about all the honking. But because with chariots in general, you know how when you get in your car, you don't just get into it to go around aimlessly. Even if your intention is simply to wander, you're going in with an intention. You don't get into a chariot without an intention. So to have this in reverse kind of gives me the sense that you don't even know what your intention for your life is. And you never had the opportunity. You never had the opportunity to even figure it out before all of this happened. Sorry, if I hope the mic is picking up all the honking for once, because otherwise you're gonna think I'm crazy. But I always see this honking as confirmation, because I live overlooking a road. Anyway, there's lots of cars, and they happen to honk exactly when I've hit the nail on the head. So with the chariot in reverse, yeah, it definitely feels like the path forward is actually the path backwards. You're being called to retrace a lot of your steps and go back and imagine if the situation hadn't been in your life at all, what would your life have been like? What would you have wanted your life to be like? What would you have wanted to experience? Who would you want to be without this burden? To clarify, we have the Three of Wands in reverse as well. I don't think you need to look outside of yourself at all. I think you need to look inside. And I think the reason you feel trapped here is because it's keeping you from yourself. The reason this situation feels like such a burden is not necessarily anything external, but it's kind of keeping you from going inwards, if that makes sense. And so the way to combat it is to do the opposite. Retrace your steps and go inwards. From the perspective of none of this ever happened to you, if you then consider what your inner monologue would have been, who your inner self would have been, what would that person be like? What would that person sound like? How would they think about themselves? Because like I said, it doesn't feel like you want to realign to a path. It's more like you want to find a path. Which is interesting for it to show up in this specific reading. But next, how can you realign with your path or find your path? We have, this was in reverse, the Five of Swords in reverse. There is no conflict here, pile 2. I feel like you're expecting a fight, or you're expecting roadblocks, you're expecting people to rebel or to fight back or to, what's the word I'm trying to think of? To push back. That's the word. But there is no pushback. You're at the stage right now where there's nothing more to be said or done in this situation. And so when you do choose to walk away, there is going to be no resistance to it. Does that make sense? It's like, I feel like you're expecting a fight. And that's because it's not necessarily because you've had fights with the situation. You may have. But it's almost like you got comfortable in this situation. And by comfortable, I mean familiar. You got familiar with this situation. And so when you want to leave it, it feels like your own subconscious might be trying to fight you over it. And because we cannot visualize a subconscious, we kind of project it onto other people and expect that they are the ones who are fighting us. It's like, even though you hated this situation, it became the norm. And so now when it's time to step away and figure out a new situation, you almost want people to stop you because new things are scary. And so if people stop you and get in your way and block you from trying something new, that gives you an excuse to stay stuck in that situation. Even though you hate it, just because it's familiar, you think it will keep you safe. Well, that's what your like primitive monkey brain thinks, that it will keep you safe. And as a result, you're kind of expecting conflict and you're kind of hoping almost for conflict, just so it will keep you stuck there and you can blame someone else for it. Does that make sense? But there is no conflict, Paltu. It's all conflict within your mind, because this is a swords card. This is the first swords card that came up. And swords talks about air energy, which is your mind, your intellect, your thinking, that sort of thing. And it's, the Five of Swords upright is a conflict card. It's turmoil. So to have it in reverse, to have all of these in reverse kind of tells me that you need not look anywhere but inside. The call is coming from inside the house, Paltu. And to clarify the Five of Swords in reverse, we have the Hanged Man. It's time for a new perspective. Yeah. What did I say? It's like your inner self is trying to avoid adopting this new perspective. Oh, do you know what's funny is that all of these are in reverse and the only upright card, the character, is upside down as well. You need to look at this situation almost upside down. Like, how did it get to this point? And how can you... I'm trying to figure out. And the Hangman is Aquarius energy, which is again an air sign. Aquarius season might be significant for you. It's, all Cancer season. Or between Cancer and Aquarius season could be important for you. But it's time for a new perspective on everything. Maybe you see this situation as keeping you trapped, but perhaps you are keeping the situation trapped. I know that sounds dumb, but hear me out. Maybe when you feel like you've been shackled in a situation like this, be it a marriage, be it work, be it a job that you hate, when you feel like you've been trapped in it, it is just as trapped by you because you refuse to walk away from it. And there is a lot of resistance there that's keeping you and this situation kind of frozen in time. So how can you go about kind of loosening up so that the situation has no alternative but to let go as well and set you both free? If this is a partner that you're walking away from, they are just as trapped in the situation as you are. And if you haven't told them how you feel, then it is just not... It's giving neither of you the opportunity to find a better life. The same thing with work. If you find that this job is not a fit for you and that you might be better suited for something else, there are people out there who are well suited for this job. And there is a job out there that's well suited for you. And so by staying, you're denying yourself these other people and 2 separate job opportunities the chance to be the best that they can be. So perhaps instead of seeing this situation as keeping you trapped, it could be time to ask yourself, how are you keeping this situation in shackles as well? What is your contribution to this bondage, And I'm not trying to blame you or say that, oh, it's your fault that you're here. No, obviously not. But it's just a shift in perspective that might allow you to reclaim some power in this situation, where instead of feeling like a victim of it, you can now be an active party in bringing change to the situation. So finally, what is some advice for you in this situation? We have vulture spirit. Nothing is wasted. I don't think I've ever had this card come out for me. Granted, I haven't had this deck for like the longest time. This is one of my newest decks, but it still surprises me when a card comes out that I've never seen before. Number 63, vulture spirit. Nothing is wasted. Yeah, I feel like the reason you may have stayed in the situation for so long is because you might feel like you've invested so much time and effort into it, and that walking away might mean that all of that goes to waste as well. There's so many reasons we stay in situations that are no longer serving us, but sometimes you kind of have to force yourself out. But yeah, let's read from the book because I love reading from the book for these cards. So number 63, vulture spirit. Okay, there we go. Vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. What seems hideous has its own beauty, and the recycling the vulture does is as important as any other activity in nature that supports the cycle of life. Vulture spirit's message is that nothing is to be wasted, for nature sees value in everything that exists. You are reminded that any suffering you have experienced has not gone to waste. Wisdom and understanding that arose from the experience are talismans that will serve you on your journey wherever you go. No pain was in vain and no experience was wasted for you have the power to use it and co-create something far better. This is the miracle in your partnership with spirit. That was beautiful. Too. So that's your message about how you can realign to your path. I really hope it resonated. I know it was a little confusing and abstract, but I feel like if this message was for you, then hopefully it made sense. If it did, then please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it really helps the channel out so much. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and letting me read for you today and sharing your energy with me. I really hope it helped. Whatever you're going through, I really hope you find the courage to do exactly what you need to do in order to be your best version. But yeah, thanks so much for being here. Stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye! Pal number 3, hello, welcome to your reading. So if you picked this blue sodalite crystal, can we focus? Okay, there we go. Then welcome to your reading. I'm going to start by saying I've had to do some serious grounding before getting to you guys, because your energy is chaotic. When I was, do you want to see, when I was shuffling for this pile, this is the note I made for pile 3. Cards, insane. These cards wanted to jump out by the hundreds. It's so crazy, and even now I'm feeling so high vibrational right now. So yeah, wow, you guys are in some chaotic energy. But let's talk about how you can realign to your path. So I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your cards. And this is very tarot heavy. These first two cards are going to give us some confirmation about what path you're asking about. And that way you know if this reading is for you. Although with all the chaos, I feel like you would already have identified this reading as yours. But this will tell us what path you're asking about. These two cards will tell us why you may have veered off your path and maybe how you may have veered off your path. And these four cards here will tell us how you can get right back on track with everything. My hands are a little shaky right now. Wow, never felt this way. While doing a reading, that's crazy. And then finally we'll get some advice from the Spirit Animal Oracle card. So let's just get into it because, oh wow. Okay, so what is this path that you guys are inquiring about? We have the Page of Cups in reverse. Wow, I had to pause recording for a massive coughing fit. That's so wild. What are you guys doing, Pal 3? Are you okay? Are you okay? Because that's so... Okay. Anyway, the Page of Cups in reverse. I feel like I want to come give you guys a big old hug. The Page of Cups is that emotionally immature kind of energy. It's like a little kid with big feelings is kind of the vibe I get from the Page of Cups. And do you see how there's a rabbit? Will we focus? There we go. I had to do it manually. But do you see how there's a little rabbit that's going all over the place? I feel like that's the kind of energy you guys are in right now. As far as just chaos and, you know, rabbits are really fast paced. But also, I feel like you are dreamers. And it feels like your dreams are being not crushed, but questioned right now. Pal 3. This is giving me the same... Okay, so the other day I watched Zootopia, and you know the rabbit in it, Hops? Judy Hopps, she has a dream, right? She wants to be a policewoman, but they've never had a bunny policewoman before. And everyone around her has always crushed that dream for her. And it feels like that's the kind of energy you are in right now, Pile 3, where it feels like there is no real support towards your ambition and the things that you want to do with your life. The things that you feel you are destined to do with this red thread of fate that this rabbit is carrying. But everyone around you is telling you it's simply not possible. It just does not happen for you or for people like you. Maybe you come from a certain type of society where your choices are not the norm, you know? And as a result, you've been met with nothing but discouragement. And so perhaps you're questioning whether the path that you want to follow is even right for you, because all this doubt is kind of swallowing you every single day. To clarify, we have the Page of Pentacles. I don't think this will focus, but another page. It feels okay. The Page of Pentacles is still that youthful energy, but it is practical. It is by the book. I feel like you may be caught between two separate paths. One that makes your heart happy. One, you know, this Page of Cups moment where you know that following this path would make you so, so happy, so emotionally fulfilled. But then there is the practical path, which will make you so much money and just offer you stability and social acceptance, really. And I feel like you kind of want both. But it almost feels like if you were to pick up on this path, you'd be losing on fulfilling your soul's mission. And if you were to pick this path, you might have nothing. And that's kind of keeping you in limbo a little bit. It's like there's two paths in front of you. You know which one you want to follow and you know which one you should follow. And you can't figure out where to go. And you're kind of oscillating between the two right now. So if that sounds like your situation, you're in the right place. So let's go ahead and see what the cards have to say. So why have you veered off this path? Or why are you not able to pick a path? We have the 7 of Coins. I think there might be people who are invested in the choice that you make. And do you see how these people are very different? I feel like there might be some people who are invested in your more soul path. And there's some people who are invested in the more practical path. And it's kind of, you're not sure whom to be influenced by or whom you want to try and please. Oh, my chair's creaky, sorry. It almost, I feel like I'm in limbo right now. It feels like there's people who are invested in this, or you may have invested in one of these too much to then switch up. You may have, invested in, say, higher education for this more practical choice, but it's not your soul's calling and you know it, but you've already come this far and it feels like a waste to then switch up and follow. Like, look, I did this. Okay, I did this. I invested in something that I thought would be the practical choice and then realized it wasn't fulfilling for my soul and I switched it up and it was not easy. And it comes with so much guilt and so much drama and just wishing you had made better choices in the past, all of that. But I know very well that feeling of it feeling like a waste. But the thing is, I can tell you now, this has nothing to do with the reading, but I can tell you from firsthand experience, it is so worth following your soul's path. Even if it doesn't get you all like the riches or the accolades that you are hoping for, that this path may bring you immediately, the kind of wealth that you get from joy, the kind of like inner wealth almost that you get from just doing things that make you happy, that make your soul happy and that fulfill your purpose on this planet. I know it's cliche, but there is no money in the world that could ever replace that. But anyway, I feel like the reason you veered off your soul's path, I feel like that's what this reading is turning into, is because you feel like you've invested too much in the other one. And as a result, it almost comes with a sense of guilt for wanting to leave, for wanting to go follow your soul's calling instead. Clarifying the 7 of Coins, we have the 2 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, there is so much out there that you want to explore. I feel like your calling might have to do with travel, because the 2 cards that are upright are the Earth cards, and the 2 cards that are in reverse that almost represent your purpose are Fire and Water, which are faster moving cards, whereas these 2 are very slow moving cards. And so it almost feels like your purpose might involve a lot of travel. But because you feel like you are so invested in where you are right now, it almost feels impossible to be able to make that change. But the 2 of Wands in reverse, it's like you want to look out and see what's out there. You want to explore this infinite number of possibilities, but you're not allowing yourself to. It's like so in this deck, it's the Tarot of the Divine deck. The 2 of Wands is it's like a two-faced character who has like one eye on the future and one eye on the past, and they're stepping in the present. And it almost gives me the vibe of being, and when that card comes out in reverse, it gives me the vibe of being forced into the present moment. And I feel like that's where you are, where it's like everything in your life is so chaotic and so uncertain right now that you can do nothing but barely hold on. And you don't have the energy to think about what you wanted in the past, or even consider any future that isn't just the same old, same old. And I feel like that's what's veered you away from your soul's true path, is the rat race or the daily grind. Interesting. So now that we understand this, how can you get back to your soul's true path? And is there a way to do it without necessarily throwing all of this away? Let's see. So, how can you get back onto your path? We have the 10 of Swords. Ooh, okay, it's not going to be easy, but it is a necessary ending. Pile 3. Something has to come to an end. You have to end a cycle. I feel like you have to end a cycle of people pleasing, primarily. Because no matter what you choose, someone is going to be disappointed. Because there are people invested in you on both sides. It feels like there's some people who want you to pick your soul's path. There's some people who want you to pick your practical path. This could be like two parents with opposite opinions, or it could be two friends with opposite opinions, or whatever your situation is. It feels like no matter what you pick, you're going to disappoint someone and you're going to please someone else. And so in either case, there is going to be a conflict. So does it not make more sense to just end a cycle on your own terms and choose for yourself without necessarily taking in other people's opinion? I don't know if any of that makes sense. I hope it does. But to clarify the 10 of Swords, we have the 2 of Cups in reverse. Interesting. 2 of Cups is soulmate energy. It is love. It's pure love. It is finding yourself mirrored in someone else. It is the highest form of love. So to have that in reverse talks usually about heartbreak or something not being a good enough fit for you. That may be a situation that you're facing right now. But having chosen this practical choice, you may feel like it's fine, it's workable, but it's not, it's not mirroring your soul. It's not helping you express your truth. Whereas the truest, purest, most beautiful form of love will force you almost to share your gifts with the world. It will encourage you to pursue only the things that make you happy. So to have this in reverse, it kind of feels like you know which of these two choices you want to make and you were put on this planet to make. And the only way forward, the only way to get out of this chaos energy is to just put your foot down and make that choice. Because at the end of the day, these people whose opinions you have taken into consideration are not the ones who live, are not the ones who live your life, are not the ones who pay your bills. At the end of the day, you have to deal with you. When you wake up in the morning, you have to face yourself in the mirror, not them. And you are responsible for your own happiness. Because it's easy to, put yourself through stuff that you don't want to deal with and then blame someone else for it and live your life like that. But it's hard work to only pursue the things that make you happy, especially with the society that we have today, where you are labeled selfish for simply wanting something or simply doing the things that make you happy. It can be hard, and it's not for the faint of heart, but I don't think you are the faint of heart, because if you are truly, genuinely even considering the idea of leaving what's comfortable for what would truly make you happy, I think you're pretty freaking strong. Because it takes a lot of courage to even entertain the possibility. Next, we have the Fool in reverse. Interesting. The Fool in reverse. This is not a new beginning. There's nothing. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, there's like a whole bunch of ideas coming into my mind. First off, it could mean, and take whichever of these resonates, okay? My first understanding of the Fool in reverse here is that the current path that you're in, or the practical choice, is not something that will help you evolve. With the Fool upright, it's the beginning of a journey. It is the first card of the major arcana, and it is that energy of new beginnings, of a new cycle, which is interesting for it to come after the Ten of Swords, which is the end of a cycle. With the Fool in reverse, it's kind of telling me that if you stay in this energy of same old, you will forever be same old. There's nothing new coming your way. There is nothing new to learn. There is nothing new to pursue. And eventually you're going to get into a state of complacency so bad that you kind of don't even care about anything anymore. And I think you have a light inside you that the world needs, because I do feel like there's a creative spark inside of you, and that you were put on this planet, or you came onto this planet to express. And the fact that you're even considering not expressing it is absolutely baffling, because it just goes to show you how easy it is for people to manipulate each other, to step away from your soul's mission. Our soul's primary function when we incarnate on any planet is to grow, evolve, and learn, and to experience things, right? And so if you've made a choice that does not allow that primary function to function, what does that tell you about how deeply you have been, I don't want to say the word manipulated, but conditioned? How deeply you've been conditioned to try and please people. To clarify the Fool in reverse, we have, I don't understand. The Ten of Swords in reverse. Okay, so this adds to the other interpretation of the Fool, where I'm seeing two different choices that you end up making. Either you end this cycle because you understand deep down that what you are doing right now, or this practical choice, is not your soulmate opportunity. It's not your soul's purpose. This is your soul's purpose that you've been actively denying. So if you were to end this cycle, that will allow you to truly find fulfillment. Or if you don't end the cycle, if you don't start brand new, right? If you don't take that Ten of Swords moment that is offered to you, because yeah, it is an offering to you, the universe is giving you an out. If you don't take it, then you never have the opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve as a soul. Sure, you may have little opportunities to grow as a person because that's just part of life on this planet, but you will never really get to go through that evolution, that deep, dramatic soul growth that you are almost like guaranteed if you were to follow. Well, not almost, you are literally guaranteed if you were to follow this true soul mission that you were put on this planet to do. So I don't think this is so much a reading about how you can get back onto your path. It's more about which path should you choose, which is very unexpected because that was not what I intended for this reading to be. But then again, when I was shuffling your cards, it's not like they wanted this reading to be what I wanted it to be anyway. In a way, that's almost like a metaphor for you. But we're not going to go there. Yeah, I feel like you have two choices in front of you. And I know deep down that you know exactly which choice you want to make, but it is simply fear. And it's a very valid fear. You know, we all want to survive and thrive and make a ton of money and have stability in our lives. But at what cost? You know? But finally, let's take a look at the Spirit Animal Oracle card for some advice. We have the Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide, in reverse. Yeah, it all comes back to abundance, doesn't it? Because I feel like the only reason that you are not following your soul's calling is a fear that you might not be able to make a living off of it because it's so out there, because the society that you live in, the people that you grew up around cannot see this being a viable option for you in terms of a job or a lifestyle. And I feel like that's the only thing keeping you here, keeping you caught in this limbo. But let's read from the book. Number 10, if that number means anything to you. Buffalo Spirit in reverse. Okay. Protection message. When Buffalo Spirit visits you with a message of protection, he's asking you to shift your thinking from poverty consciousness to one where you trust the universe will provide. Do you see scarcity where there is, in fact, abundance? Are you comparing yourself to others and falling short? Buffalo Spirit nudges you to make a gratitude list and be mindful of your thoughts at this time. Then you will remember that abundance is the true nature of the world. That was incredibly on point. So pile number 3, that's your reading for today for how you can realign to your soul's path, apparently. I really do hope this reading helped and it brought you some clarity and support that you might have been looking for. And if it resonated, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It really helps the channel out so much. Thank you so much for taking some time out and sharing your time and energy with me and letting me read for you today. I really do hope it helped. Stick around to the outro right after this for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.